Chapter 22 Peace. The Americans demand surrender, otherwise, they tell the Japanese they may expect a rain of ruin from the air. The Japanese do not respond. On August 8th, Russia enters the war against Japan. Russian forces attack armies in Manchuria and Korea. For some Japanese leaders, this is more threatening than the bomb. On August 9th, a second atomic bomb is dropped. This one hits the port of Nagasaki. The nightmare of fire, wind, rain, and radiation is repeated. Has this war driven sane people to act insanely? In Japan, the warlords and government ministers met in stormy sessions to decide the fate of their people. They are split down the middle. Most of the warriors vote to continue to fight, although everyone knows that that may mean the destruction of the Japanese people. As Emperor Hirohito described it, there was no prospect of agreement, no matter how many discussions they had. It was given the opportunity to express my own free will for the first time. The emperor decides for his people. From Tokyo, cables are sent to Washington, London, Moscow, and Chungking. Japan will accept the terms of the Potsdam Declaration, with one request, that the emperor remain as head of state. As soon as Harry Truman hears the news, he calls Eleanor Roosevelt. Mrs. Roosevelt is now America's ambassador to the United Nations. President Truman tells her that he wishes her husband were alive to accept the proposal. Here we have a mushroom cloud rising above the second atomic bomb in Nagasaki. Here we have Allied officers and crew that were aboard the United States battleship Missouri as the senior Japanese delegate Mamoru Shigemitsu signs the official surrender, documenting the end of World War II. This is kind of an iconic kissing picture of that celebration in New York City when the war was announced. In Japan, some army officers break into the imperial palace, set fire to the home of the prime minister, and attempt to stop a broadcast of the emperor's words. They fail, and along with the war minister, commits suicide in the public square. The emperor, who wants to be sure that his words are exactly right, has recorded them in advance. The actual broadcast is taking place elsewhere. It is August 15th, 1945, and Hirohito's voice is heard in the first public speech an emperor has ever made. He asked the Japanese people to accept the coming peace. Post-war America, Part 2. That's where we're headed.